Hello students, welcome to Alan. So the session is about drawing diagrams in biology, a guide. Now we all know that diagrams play a very important and crucial role in understanding any subject, especially biology, right? We cannot even imagine understanding biology without diagrams. Likewise, these diagrams play an important role when you are writing your answers in the examination. You should draw the diagrams properly and neatly when you are writing the answers, right? And you should try and support your answers with the diagrams wherever it is possible. So, we will understand that how you can draw the diagrams in a very good way and secure good marks. Okay? Now, we all know the phrase that practice makes us perfect. When it comes to diagrams, you have to practice them beforehand. When a topic starts and whatever diagrams are there in that topic, start practicing them when you are studying the topic. Okay, so that when it comes to writing the final examination, you don't face any problem, any difficulty. Okay, now there are some general principles that we are going to understand when we have to draw the diagrams. Okay, so the first rule, the first principle is that use a sharpened pencil only when you have to draw the diagram, and preferably use an HB pencil, a dark colored pencil when you are drawing the diagrams, right? Next point is that you should make clear and continuous lines when you are drawing the diagram. Okay, so use clear and continuous lines. You should not break the lines when you are drawing the diagram, right? Suppose you are drawing the flower's pistil. So when you are drawing the pistil of the flower, you should make the lines continuous like this. Okay, you should not add some breaks like this. Okay, this should not be the case. Okay, so you don't have to do this, right? You should draw it continuously so that it comes out clear. Next is, you should not use any form of shading. Okay, shading should be avoided. You don't have to shade the diagram. Next point is, make the diagrams large enough. Okay, so try to cover majority 50 to 60% of the portion of your page when you are drawing the diagrams. Okay, next is that correct the mistakes using a good quality eraser. Okay, so whenever you have to erase something, erase it with a good quality eraser so that the marks are not there and the diagram appears neat and tidy. And always include a title with your diagram. Okay, so whatever diagram you are drawing, suppose here we are drawing this pistil, so you should include the title, pistil of flower. So like that, whatever diagram you will draw, you have to include a point, a title to that. Okay, now there are some do's and don'ts which you have to keep in mind when you're drawing the diagram. Okay, so first we'll see some do's which you have to do. Now, whenever you're drawing the diagram, cover 40 to 60% of the area. So your diagram should cover nearly 40 to 60% of the sheet. Okay. Next is that whenever you're drawing the diagram, label all the relevant structures of your diagram. Okay, and you should label them with the straight arrows. Okay, so labeling should be done neatly with the help of straight arrows. Some more do's are that you should use a ruler for label lines as well as for your scale bars. Now at times you have to draw the bars, okay, the scales, the bars, so use proper ruler for drawing them. Also for the label lines also use the rulers so that the lines are straight, they are not dwindling here and there. Okay, next is label line should start exactly at that structure which you are trying to label, right? So suppose if I'm trying to label the ovary, so my line should start here, right, at the ovary. It should not be the case that I'm drawing it here and then I'm labeling this ovary, or I'm drawing here and I'm labeling it ovary. No, it should start exactly at the point where we have to do the labeling. Okay, so label line should start exactly at that structure which you are labeling. Next point is that you should arrange the label lines neatly, right? So the arrangement of the label line should be neat. Okay, these are some of the do's that you have to keep in the mind when you're drawing the diagrams. Now there are some don'ts which you don't have to do. So you should remember these don'ts also, okay? Try not to make the mistakes, okay? So here the first point is that you should not overwrite. Don't overwrite in your labelings, okay? Whenever you are labeling, try you are labeling it properly. Don't overwrite the things. Next is that make sure your label lines are not crossing each other, okay? So again, suppose I am labeling the parts here. So if I'm labeling the ovary here, and suppose I've labeled the style here, and then I have labeled the stigma like this. No, that's wrong. This should not be done. Okay, you should not cross the label lines. Make sure that label lines don't cross each other. And the final point that you have to keep in mind, which you don't have to do, is don't use colorful pens or pencils. Simply use your HB pencil, and with that pencil only you will draw the diagram, you will draw the label lines, and you will label the parts. Okay, so these are some do's and don'ts that you have to keep in mind when we are drawing diagrams in biology. And now let us learn to draw some of the diagrams of your class. First, we will learn to draw the human digestive system. Human digestive system starts with the alimentary canal. It consists of the alimentary canal along with the associated organs, and it begins with the mouth. So we are going to draw the mouth part first. So like this, we have to draw the human figure. Okay. Like this, you will draw on both the sides the human figure. And now we are going to start with the mouth. So first we will draw this part. Like this, you have to draw the buccal cavity, and now it leads into the esophagus. So we'll draw the food pipe here. Now the food pipe passes through the diaphragm, the dome shaped structure. So we're going to draw the dome shaped structure. Like this, we'll draw the stomach. And the liver here. The gallbladder here. And the pancreas here. Now we'll draw the intestine. So first we'll draw with the large intestine here. Like this, you have to draw the large intestine. Okay, so complete it like this. And now we are going to draw with the with here we are going to start with the small intestine. Now small intestine is a highly coiled structure, 7.5 meter long and present in a highly coiled form. So we are going to draw it like this only. Okay, so like this we'll draw the small intestine. Now this completes with the digestive system, and now we are going to label it. So first we'll start with the mouth. So this we will label as mouth here, the buccal cavity. Then the tongue part here, and then we'll label the esophagus, the food pipe. Now we will label the diaphragm. Then the liver, the gallbladder, that stores bile, the bile duct, the stomach, pancreas. Now we are going to label the small intestine. So this part and this entire coiled part is the small intestine. So label it like this. And now the large intestine, in which this segment represents colon, and then the anus part, and the vestigial organ appendix. So like this we have to label all the parts, and now we are going to write the name of the diagram here, the human alimentary canal. So we will write human alimentary canal at the bottom, and now we will underline it. Okay, now we will learn to draw the human heart. So the human heart is the size of the fist, and it is located between the lungs in the thoracic cavity, and it is four chambered in humans with two auricles and two ventricles. So first we are going to start with the ventricle parts. So like this we have to draw the bottom section. In between we are going to draw that septa which divides the ventricles, and now we'll continue it like this, and from here only we have to draw this structure like this. Okay, similarly we are going to continue on the other side, the right ventricle, and then again we have to draw this part here and continuing like this. Okay, now here the septum, from here we are going to continue, and we will make an arch like this. Parallel to it we are going to make another arch like this. Okay, so we have made two arch here, and then we will make one vessel like this that represents the aorta, and here we are going to make another vessel like this. Okay, so till here it's done. Now we will just fold it a bit here, and this will be another vessel like this. and it will continue like this. Okay, so this is how we are going to make it. Here we will erase this one, okay, because this is iota here, so this is how we will draw. And now here we are going to draw this another vessel here that is representing the pulmonary veins. Here draw this section at these places. Okay, so that completes with the auricles and the ventricles, and now we are going to complete this part here. So here, extend it at the bottom, touch it at the one place here and at another place like this. Okay, just a bit space should be there. Similarly, we'll continue a line here. Okay, and like this it will be done. Now make some lines from here touching the wall from both the sides. Here also you have to make the lines, and this completes the heart diagram. Okay, and now we're going to start with the labeling part. So we're going to start with the ventricles first. So this part is the left ventricle and this is the right ventricle. Yes, and this center part is the septum here. So label it as the septum. Now we're going to mark with the vessels. Before that, label the left atrium and the right atrium. So this is the right atrium. Okay, now we'll label the pulmonary veins. So these two vessels are the pulmonary veins which will bring the blood from the lungs, and these are the pulmonary arteries which will take the blood to the lungs. Right, this completes with this part. Now we are going to label the vena cava. So here first we will label aorta. This part is the aorta here. Now here this is the vena cava which is bringing the blood from the lower body, and this vena cava is bringing the blood from the upper body. Okay, so here you have to label the vena cava, the superior vena cava, and you can also write from upper body. And the inferior vena cava, which brings the blood from lower body. So like this we will complete the labeling, and this is how we are going to draw the human heart. Now at the bottom we are going to mention the name of the figure. It is the human heart, and you can underline it like this. Okay, so with that we complete with the human heart. Now we are going to learn how to draw the structure of a flower. Structure of a flower is important from exam point of view. Okay, so we are going to understand how to draw it in an easy way, and we will start with drawing this stalk of the flower. Okay, over that we are going to draw the pistil, that is the female reproductive part of the flower. Inside the pistil we will draw the ovule, like this. Okay. Like this you are going to draw the ovule, and now we are going to draw the anthers and the filaments representing the stamens. Okay, so like this we are going to draw the filament and the anther. On both the side we will be drawing them. One more we are going to draw. Okay, and now we will draw the petals. So like this you will draw the petals surrounding the flower. Okay, and now we are going to draw the outer green structure, that is the sepals. Okay, and that is how the structure of the flower will be drawing. And now we are going to start with the labeling part. So we are going to label the stalk first, that is the pedicel. Now we will label the green leaf like structure, the sepal. Then we will label this ovule. Now the swollen part, that is the ovary. Then the stalk of the pistil, that is the style, and the upper part, the stigma. Together we will label it as pistil. So pistil has three parts: the ovary, the style, and the stigma. And now we will label the filament, and the anther, and together we will label it as stamen, the male reproductive part. And now we will label the petal. So stamens are the male reproductive part of the flower and pistils are the female reproductive part of the flower, whereas sepals and petals are the accessory parts of the flower. And now we will label the diagram as longitudinal section of the flower. So you will write the name of the diagram and you can underline it. Okay, so that is how we will draw the structure of the flower.